Good afternoon, I'm Vashon Brown with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the words Spot Media. Controversial pastor at the Faithful Word Baptist Church in Phoenix, Arizona, Stephen Anderson, has commented strongly on being denied entry to Jamaica following outcry from local and overseas activists. The ban comes after an online petition to prevent his entry into Jamaica. TVJ's O'Shane Masters has the details.
No homos will ever be allowed on this church as long as I'm the pastor here. Never!
That was controversial pastor of the Faithful Word Baptist Church in Phoenix, Arizona, Stephen Anderson, in one of his church services several years ago. The pastor has been denied entry to South Africa, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Botswana because his utterances were deemed to be hate speeches. On Monday, Mr. Anderson was denied entry to Jamaica. However, speaking in a YouTube video, Mr. Anderson argued that overseas governments influenced Jamaica to take a hard stance, which resulted in him not being able to visit the island to preach. Mr. Anderson said he was about to board a flight to Kingston when he was informed he would not be allowed into Jamaica.
I'm pretty surprised because I've seen a lot of stuff online that said that Jamaica is, quote, the most homophobic country in the world. So it's pretty weird that I would be banned from Jamaica because of my views on homosexuality. But to me, it just goes to show that we're heading into a one world government where individual nations, they don't really have any say over what they want to do. You know, a country like Jamaica that's supposed to be a sovereign nation, apparently they can't really do their own thing. Because obviously this is an outside influence from the United States or the United Kingdom or whoever is pressuring them or influencing them to be pro-homosexual.
The pastor has called for gay people to be stoned to death, once prayed for the death of former U.S. President Barack Obama, and has also said that a woman's place is at home raising children and not at work. The controversial figure has blamed the situation on a conspiracy.
They're just scared to death that I'm going to go there and preach the gospel and get people saved, and people are going to read their Bibles and listen to my preaching, and that they're actually going to have a view that's against homosexuality. They just have an agenda to cram that view down everybody's throat. That's the only acceptable view to them. The biblical view is not acceptable. You know, what the Bible clearly teaches in Romans 1, in the book of Jude, in 2 Peter chapter 2, Leviticus 20:13, you know, that's not acceptable to them.
The ban comes after an online petition by gay rights activist J. John, which collected nearly 40,000 signatures. He told The Guardian, quote, "This is a positive outcome in which I am very pleased," end quote. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
With the police commissioner taking pre-retirement leave, political analyst Michael Williams is suggesting that the next top cop should come from outside of Jamaica. Mr. Williams was a guest on TVJ's Smile Jamaica this morning.
On Sunday, TVJ News reported that Police Commissioner George Coelho decided to go on pre-retirement leave tomorrow, leaving his Deputy Commissioner Clifford Blake to act as commissioner. Since the start of the year, Jamaica has seen a significant increase in murder, with more than 100 persons being killed. And many are questioning why the commissioner is stepping down at a time when crime is on the rise. But speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica on Tuesday, political analyst Michael Williams said that recently, commissioners are being changed based on the party which is in government.
Look at the last 5 commissioners. They all had 5 to 7 year contracts. And all the contracts, as soon as the government changes, a new commissioner comes in, a year or so. Because they try to make it look, you know, like it's a natural process. It's not really. What happens behind the scene is that they pay off the commissioner based on his contract period and say, you get your pension, thank you for your service, because we want our own man.
Mr. Williams, however, suggested that the new commissioner needs to come from outside Jamaica. And if that's not possible, Mr. Williams is suggesting that the Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen, choose the next police commissioner.
A commissioner of police that is appointed by the GG. This is the best we can get in Jamaica at this time. Like Indicom, like the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, like the Political Ombudsman, like the Public Defender, just to name a few. Those persons have the best opportunity to be independent.
He adds that if the Governor General chooses the commissioner, then it would operate like any other independent entity.
It can be monitored easily by a committee of parliament, right, which is bipartisan.
Okay.
Right? So in parliament, just like how Indicom and all of the others, they are managed by a committee of parliament, right? So you go there and you have some GLP and you have some PNP.
Jeline Pearson, TVJ News.
An unidentified male was shot and killed during a confrontation with the police in St. Elizabeth. Reports are that a joint police military team was on patrol in Newmarket in the parish when they were fired on by a group of armed men. Now the team returned fire and the men ran. During a search of the area, an unidentified male was seen lying in bushes with gunshot wounds. It's reported that he was clutching an Uzi submachine firearm with 2 magazines containing 31 9mm rounds. A 9mm Browning pistol was also found near the body. Meanwhile, the Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, is investigating the shooting death of a man said to be the area leader of a community called Pineapple Place in Ocheria, St. Ann today. The victim has been identified as 37-year-old Quincy Freighter, otherwise called Tala. Reports indicate that Mr. Freighter was shot after he confronted the police who were carrying out an operation in the area. It's believed that he pulled his firearm and fired at the cops, during which they returned fire. He was pronounced dead at hospital. TVJ News understands that a Titan Tiger 38 special revolver and 5 rounds of ammunition were taken from him. The police say they had to stop angry residents from staging a protest along the Ocherios bypass over the incident. 1 man is dead while a pillion is in serious condition after a motorbike incident along the Bay Main Road in Little London on Monday evening. The man has been identified as 23-year-old Carl Carr. TVJ News has learned that about 7:30, both persons were traveling in the same direction when the driver of the motor car was in the process of making a right turn. Mr. Carr, who was the driver of the motorbike, was overtaking a line of traffic when he slammed into the rear of the car. Both the rider and the pillion were flung from the bike. Mr. Carr died on the spot while the pillion has been admitted in hospital in serious condition. The police have again issued a strong warning to the operators of public passenger vehicles who continue to install mini sound systems inside their vehicles. The warning comes following another seizure in the corporate area. TVJ's Anthony Logg has that story.
Speakers, amplifiers and equalizers still inside some public passenger buses, particularly the 35 and 82 bus routes in the corporate area, despite several seizures and warnings from the police. The most recent seizure came on Monday.
This is a 35 bus and you would have seen this sort of a musical system that ought not to be in any public transport. And so these 35 bus and the 82 buses and some others, we are especially targeting these buses because we want for some order in the public transportation system.
But that's not all. Despite the recent traffic ticket amnesty which ended on January 13,
this particular operator has some 6 outstanding warrants and we are still checking.
Displayed by some operators of public passenger vehicles will not be allowed to continue and again issued this warning.
We are appealing to the operators of these buses. The fact that you're a public passenger operator in itself, you should see that as a privileged position, but not one to be abused. And we are seeing where these owners and operators are abusing the privilege they have to be a public passenger operator. And so we are going to be unrelenting in our efforts to rid the public transportation sector of the level of indiscipline on the roadways.
Anthony Logg, TVJ News.
News overseas now. The United States has released a sweeping list of prominent Russian business and political figures in defiance of Moscow and implementing a congressional law designed to punish Russia for election meddling. And news now in sports. Jamaica's Reggae Boys earned a credible 2-all draw with World Cup-bound South Korea in their friendly international in Turkey on Tuesday. It was the Reggae Boys who took the early lead through Dane Kelly in the 4th minute, but Shin Woo Kim would equalize for the South Koreans in the 55th minute. Woo Kim then sent the South Koreans ahead in the 62nd minute. Malik Foster, however, ensured the Jamaicans came away with a share of the spoils when he scored in the 72nd minute to make it 2-all. TVJ Sports caught up with assistant coach Donovan Duki immediately after the match, and he noted that although a good result, the boys still have a lot to work on. And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Join us at 7 for a primetime news package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.